Let's see if we can reconnect with Charlie Peters, who's also in Tel Aviv. Charlie, what is the latest situation on the ground?
Well, that order coming in from the IDF, its liaison officers speaking to the UN for millions in the north of Gaza to head south past the Wadi Gaza, a wetland area kind of halfway down the Gaza Strip. South of it, there are more built-up areas, but there's also lots of farmland, lots of open-air spaces. Then in the north, of course, people are in shelter, where bombardments have been happening relentlessly over the last 5 or 6 nights. Last night, the IDF said it hit over 750 targets in the Gaza Strip, targeting more of what it says are Hamas military capabilities. And this order to move in the next 24 hours, as you've heard, the UN has called on Israel to rescind it, saying it will generate an even worse humanitarian situation than the one that is already declining very rapidly in the Gaza Strip. People are sheltering in hospitals that are running out of fuel, as generators require fuel to turn on the power amid this electricity and water blockade imposed by Israel. And also people unable to move. There are just 2 main supply routes in the Gaza Strip, one close to the coast, one further inland. To move 1.1 million people south in just 24 hours is a logistical feat of huge proportions in normal times. In times of war, it's potentially impossible. So why are they doing this? Why is the IDF and its liaison officers calling on the UN to enact that evacuation order north of Gaza? Well, it's likely that they want to ramp up their already very strong bombing campaign in the area to soften those targets and shape the ground for what is almost certain now the next stage as they prepare for that likely ground invasion of the Gaza Strip, the first since 2014. Israel says it has to follow its mission to destroy Hamas and its military capabilities. Yesterday, Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi, the IDF Chief of Staff, said that Hamas was doomed, and as they prepare for more air attacks and a ground invasion, it seems that they're extremely keen on following through on that mission.
Charlie, it seems so strange talking to you as we are doing now. There's a blue sky behind you, beautiful sunshine. It's extraordinary to think that you are actually in a war zone. What's it been like overnight? What is it like at the moment during the night?
Well, usually at home I'd sleep with AirPods in, but here I can't because we're listening out for air sirens every night. People are regularly taking shelter in central Israel due to rocket attacks from the Gaza Strip. Ashkelon and Ashdod, cities further south of us, have been receiving rocket barrages very regularly since Saturday, where Hamas fired 4,500 rockets in one day. They're now, the IDF says, reducing their rocket attacks to around 200 to 400 a day as they prepare for a long-term conflict. Sustaining that level of rocket attack is extremely difficult, especially when they are an asymmetric militant group without direct state support on the ground. Of course, the Gaza Strip is an impoverished area, but a lot of money in the area does go towards missiles being fired into Israel. In Tel Aviv is a relatively safe place in comparison to the rest of the country, but people coming back here are sheltering from the atrocities in the south, and we're also seeing lots of wounded IDF soldiers returning here, seeking the support and the shelter of their homes. 2 nights ago, we saw an IDF soldier, just 19 years old, walking through the streets at night. He had 2 slings on, one sling on his arm, which was injured, and another sling carrying an M16 rifle. He was walking home just to see some friends quickly before getting some more rest and recuperating after what he had seen and endured on the front lines. But yes, a very tense atmosphere here as people anticipate that likely ground invasion and prepare also, let's not forget, for the threats coming from the north. In southern Lebanon, Lebanese Hezbollah have been firing missiles and guided missiles into northern Israel, and there's also been an increased threat from Syria, shelling from Syria in the last couple of days, which the Israeli Air Force responded to by launching airstrikes on the international airports in Aleppo and Damascus. So several fronts opening in this extremely complex battle space, and we likely expect now the next phase with that ground invasion into the Gaza Strip.
OK, Charlie, for now, thanks very much indeed.